A friend came looking for advice on choosing a stylish luxury crossover, SUV. Eventually, Range Rover came up. It always does. But the brand is a tough sell, I explained, because Jaguar Land Rover hasn't yet escaped its reputation for poor reliability. Consumer Reports ranked Land Rover second to last on its 2021 brand report card list. In my own experience, JLR cars have suffered more electrical problems than most. But, then again, one look at the Range Rover Sport can win over the most skeptical buyers. In the spirit of full disclosure, I wear a Barber jacket often and slip into a Winston Churchill drawl after a tumbler or two of gin, so perhaps I was predestined to like this car, so rooted in the idea of rugged British luxury. Still, there's no doubt that 8 years after the debut of the second-generation Range Rover Sport, this SUV is aging gracefully. It's still one of the nicest SUV shapes on the road, one of the few modern vehicles instantly recognized by silhouette alone. That shape has persisted while JLR revamped the under-the-hood bits. A few years ago, the Range Rover Sport received a new 3.0-litre mild hybrid straight-six in place of the old supercharged V6. This 2021 House Silver Tester was equipped with a version of that new straight-six making 355 horsepower and 365 pound-feet, which is currently the base-level powertrain. It's an interesting engine, part of the JLR Ingenium family of 3, 4, and 6 cylinders. Here it's boosted by a twin-scroll turbocharger, and an electric supercharger driven off the car's 48-volt electrical system. JLR calls it a supercharger, though electric compressor may be more apt, as this device consists solely of a compressor wheel driven by an electric motor. The 48-volt system also brings an integrated starter-generator to replace traditional belt-driven accessories, providing for quicker and smoother engine stop-starts, engine-off coasting, and a small power boost in certain scenarios. Load-era tech-minded readers will recognize this system as similar to the straight-six powertrain used by Mercedes-AMG in its 53 series cars. In any case, it's extremely smooth, and the powertrain provides great throttle response and low and mid-range torque. You'll be disappointed if you were hoping for something like a high-revving BMW straight-six here, and I think the new Mercedes 6 is a touch smoother, but really, the Rover's engine is more than good enough for daily driving. And while the old V6 was a charmer, this straight-six is smoother and better suited to a car like the Range Rover Sport. The Range Rover is blessed by smooth driving dynamics, too. Worldly concerns seem to melt away when you're sat on the Range Rover Sport's high perch. It's easy to see why these things are so popular in cities, it's just so. But inside the Sport, the steering wheel's haptic buttons and the dual-screen infotainment system in the console remain unconvincing, despite many new luxury cars moving to a similar setup. Both smack of complexity for complexity's own sake, but you get used to the quirks after a day or two. I should also add that the backup camera didn't come on at one point, and the screen froze shortly thereafter. Turning the car on and off again solved the issue. If nothing else, this interior looks slick and high-tech, but cossets its driver with just enough leather that the Sport still points to that old brand of English luxury. It certainly appeals to this waxed jacket-clad reporter. Naturally, I wanted to take the Sport off-roading, but street-oriented tires on 21-inch wheels plus a $85,645 sticker on the rig made me think better of it. Rather, I trundled down some dirt roads upstate and played around with the Range Rover's various off-road settings. It's not like you need the Nürburgring to enjoy a sports car. We trust there are enough tools here to ferry your spawn up the ski hill each winter. At the very least, there's something about knowing you have the capability to get far out there, in total comfort, even if you never will. That feeling sells a ton of expensive cars. The House Silver starts at $79,850, and this 2021 Tester carries a $85,645 sticker. 2022 models cost the same. The House Silver trim is somewhat of a value package, though the Sport doesn't include a number of features that should be standard at this price, like 360-degree parking cameras. You could compare the Range Rover Sport to the usual stable of German rivals, your X5s or Audi Qs, but I actually think its closest competitor lives in-house, the new Defender. It's not quite as luxurious, but the Defender offers even more off-road capability, rugged good looks, more horsepower from its straight-six, and damn near all of the on-road refinement for less money. Plus, it's the luxury SUV of the moment, just like the Sport was back in 2012. Still, the Sport has its own appeal. There's subtlety and grace here. It's not shouting about off-road bona fides in the same way as the Defender. It feels a bit more town and country, and it represents a remarkable design achievement that the Sport still feels fresh all these years later. But, the defender reveals that for the next Range Rover Sport, Land Rover has to move the luxury game even further on to justify the price difference. Back to my friend's search. Like myself, he's not immune to the charms of British cars. I recommended the Range Rover with a caveat, that I wouldn't accept blame if it broke down in some amusing way. As for myself, I set up a search for older Range Rovers shortly after handing this one back. If it breaks, I'll have no one to blame but myself.